Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mimi Falco. I'm a tarot reader, astrologer, numerologist, among many other magical things or witchy things, whatever you want to call them. So today we are doing a tarot reading on the month of February. So we are doing a month ahead tarot reading to see what it is coming up for you this coming month. Essentially, what I'm focusing on is the themes for you this month, and then also looking at the thirds of February. So the 1st to the 10th, the 11th to the 20th, and the 21st to the 28th. Before we get to the reading, I just want to let you know the giveaway continues. Basically, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving an undefined amount of prizes away. I started off with 3, but I kind of just want to give away a bunch of prizes. So once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I will be giving away those prizes. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to this channel, follow me on Instagram at mimuse.me, and then also comment below and let me know that you did those things so that I can enter you on my big old list of contest entries. Another shameless plug, I've been working with the Stars Made Me Do It podcast. So if you want to go follow them on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is, we also have a Patreon account. So we are releasing exclusive episodes, which is kind of like a come hang out with us. We do tarot readings for sort of a collective or for the community, and then also for ourselves. And we sort of just recap what it is we're going through. And then we also release all of our episodes early. So you always get a little extra early peek to the episodes that are coming up. If you want to book a reading with me, you absolutely can do that. All you have to do is go to harveymountainalchemy.com and over to services, and then I've got tarot and astrology and Reiki services on my website. So please go check that out. I would love any support, and I would also love to meet some of you guys and work with some of you guys, maybe check out some of your natal charts and do some readings. So if you want to do that, absolutely can. Again, that's harveymountainalchemy.com. All right, I've got your piles on the table. Let's get started. Let's see what February is all about. All right, so pile 1, you've got this orange calcite. Pile 2, white howlite. And pile 3, unakite. All right, pile 1, you have got this orange calcite here. Orange calcite is an energizing stone. It's associated with the sacral chakra, so all about our creativity, our joy, our optimism. So very much a focus on bringing excitement and inspiration and creativity and just that energy, right? So just bringing some activation of the belly and the gut and excitement into your life for February. So we're going to start off by picking a card, which is going to be the major theme for your February. And I'm using the Pride Tarot, the Love is Love. So what is the theme for pile 1? The Queen of Wands. Wow, and the Queen of Wands is so inspired, right? She is inspiration. She's this fiery queen. But the thing about the queen that's different from the king is that it's much more internal, right? So she's working on finding that inspiration within herself rather than focusing so much on the external circumstances or seeking excitement from somebody else, or maybe stealing other people's energies or stealing other people's things maybe, you know, like it's really about you being able to find what ignites that fire within you. Almost like a pilot light. And I get this imagery a lot with the wands because it's like it's been dulled and it needs to be reignited. You need to reignite that passion, that excitement, that joy, that optimism in your life for February. And so that is one of the major themes for you this February of 2022. It is all about being able to find that thing that reignites you, and then being able to maybe even look within and figure out why it is that you're so passionate about that. You know, what about that? What quality does it have that really excites you? Because then you can start finding more things that have the same effect on you. I want to pick another card as a theme just because I feel like there's, you know, more going on than just the one thing. Oh, there we go. 3 of Pentacles. This is the Grandma Hugs card in this deck. I absolutely love this 3 of Pentacles. So it feels like you are working towards something. It feels like you are, you know, you are starting something that is starting to take shape, right? And so you're participating. That's really the word. You're participating in something that's starting to feel like it's taking shape and it's going somewhere. So continue doing that. And I feel like this has been coming up a lot of make sure that what you're doing is aligned with who you really are. Because if you start doing things in a certain way that's more aligned with like what society wants you to do, then when it does snowball into something large, you won't feel as connected to it. Whereas if you really make sure that you put all of you into whatever project you're working on, then you know that as it grows, its foundation is true to who you are. And you always have that to fall back on. So I think it's important for you this month to stay true to who you are, to stay true to what makes you feel energized, excited, impassioned, and yeah, almost to feel grounded in that and not to judge yourself for what makes you feel that way. So now we're going to get into the thirds of the month. So from February 1st to February 10th, we have a lot of activity with Mercury going direct, and we got the World card. And this World card in the Ostara deck really feels like a big shift. Okay, so I feel like Mercury going direct is gonna create some big shift for you. So think about where Aquarius is in your chart. Actually, where Capricorn is in your chart, because Mercury is going to be in Capricorn when it goes direct. So think about Capricorn season. How was that for you? Like, how was the tail end of Capricorn season? Because those themes are going to be coming up for you again. And if you want to know about your Mercury retrograde, I have a reading for that. So the first third of February really feels like possibly overwhelmed, like there's a lot to keep up with. You've got the Wheel of Fortune. All right, I'm going to pick one more before I go ahead. There we go. And the Emperor. Okay, well, you got three majors, so it's a big deal. You have got the World, you got this Wheel of Fortune, and you've got the Emperor. So I feel like the first third of this month feels a little bit out of your control, but there are ways for you to take the control back. Right? The Wheel of Fortune sort of looks really elusive here. Like she doesn't know what direction things are going in. She doesn't know what direction she is taking. She doesn't even know where she stands or what position she's taking. And it sort of feels like the world is crumbling around her, that she doesn't have a solid footing or solid understanding of what is happening and where she's meant to go. And so I think the first third of February is asking you to actually take the bull by the horns, or the ram by the horns in this case. Make sure that you are making concise choices. Once Mercury goes direct on February 3rd, start making choices based off of what you've been reflecting on during these retrograde seasons. So it's really important for you not to get lost in the cloud of where am I, what am I doing, where am I going, and instead to make choices and take actions based off of those choices. And that is really coming up for you in the first third of February. All right, so let's look at the second third of February. We've got the Page of Inspiration, the Knight of Inspiration, and two more, I guess. Three of Pentacles, and the Muse of Inspiration. Wow. So this second third of February, which is going to be February 11th to February 20th, you've got all of these wands. All of that inspiration is literally what was coming up for me in this Queen of Wands card, but in this deck, wands is called inspiration. So it's really, this second third of February is a great time for you to actually take the action and see how that action makes you feel. So where the first third is about, okay, you know what, I have to make choices, I have to take actions. The next week is then seeing if those actions were mistakes, accepting if they were mistakes, or if those actions actually brought things to you that you love, that brought passion and excitement into your life. And then you can really have a clearer understanding of what it is you do get excited about. All of this fire here, and not only is it fire, they're all court cards. So it really feels like maybe even the fire signs in your life are really, really active and like being important figures in your life right now. The fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. But I also just feel like you are on such a journey here, and there are some times where you may feel like you know what you're doing and you feel clear and concise and like you have a direct path. And there might be other days that you are feeling like the Page, like you don't know where you're going, you don't know anything about the path you're on, and you just feel like you're at a crossroads. And so to accept that what you're doing right now is non-linear, and just to follow the gut, follow that fire, follow that excitement, that impassioned inspiration. That's really what you're meant to be following. And then you got this Three of Pentacles too, which is the second time you've got that Three of Pentacles. Remember that what you are building right now, you may feel like you are on a lower level, right? You may feel like you're not at the top of the ladder, but you are the King of Wands of your rung of the ladder, you know? So even though you might not be at the tippity top, where you are on your ladder, you are very good at. And so it almost feels like you're getting close to pushing up a level and like moving up a level, but it's just about accepting that you are very good at what you're doing right now. And rather than comparing yourself to what people maybe above you are doing, like if this is in work and you're seeking a promotion, you're like, I'm so good at what I'm doing, I should be leveled up. Maybe it's time for you to revel in how good you are at what you're doing now, because as soon as you do get promoted, or as soon as, you know, these new opportunities come to you, there's going to be a sense of inferiority because you're going to be a little bit lower than you are now. You know, you're pretty good at what you're doing right now. So that second week of February feels very impassioned, very exciting, a lot of movement. So let's see, what deck do I want to use? I don't know. Let's do some of the Love is Love. But I also feel like the Muse wants to come out. So the last third of February. Let's see, this guy wants to come out. We've got the Four of Cups. So maybe the second third is like, oh, and we got the Chariot. There is opportunity for you to be lazy in the last third of February. And you might actually take for granted all of that goodness that you do have. So that message that I was saying earlier about reveling and how good you are in your phase right now, you actually really need to take that to heart, because I feel like in the last third of February, there's opportunity for you to lose sight of what you have and to lose sight of the skills that you have. Maybe things are feeling a little slow. I think it's really up to you to create that movement forward, right? This Chariot. You could easily go and just lay on your couch and eat milk and cookies and just like be a vegetable. Or you could really take the bull by the horns again, or take the horse by the reins, the Sphinx by the reins, and make movement happen. You make the movement happen. And with the Emperor there, and I mean, all of these fiery cards and the major arcanas are all sort of saying like you have control over the trajectory of your life. It's time for you to make moves, to take actions and make decisions. So I'm going to pick one more for the last third of February. Okay. And we got the Six of Swords, the Six of Voices. Yeah, something about bowing down. I think also in the last third of February, when it comes to your relationships, there's sort of a feeling of who is superior here, who is inferior. Maybe having some ego, you know, tension or friction. And that's not to say that there are going to be arguments, but more just that you might feel a little resistant towards some other people, or maybe they're feeling a little resistant towards you. So just know, I think that that's all in your head, that it's not really... It's not based off of anything real. So if you are really going to give that a lot of weight, then know that that's going to be a difficult time. But I also think it's important for you to move past that resistance, to move past that bow down or inferiority complex that you might be experiencing around this time. So I'm going to pick some tea leaf cards here, because I like that they can give us a little more specific things. We've got Cup. You should accept valid criticism. Oh man, that's not always fun. So that sort of reminds me of the Six of Swords, of other people might have your best interest at heart. And so maybe listen a little bit, because you are on this path of living in a way that brings passion and excitement and joy and fun, really at the core of it, into your life. You're not really focusing on the practical, and that is good. That is what you're meant to be doing. But pay attention to the other people who might be giving you valid criticism. Let's see what else. There we go. We've got a few. Funny. February jumped out. And we also got September. So I almost feel like February and September are going to be quite parallel for you. Or like what happens now in February is going to affect your life in September. And then you've got disappointment in a friend or lover. So Flute. And that's happening. That was kind of on top of the Queen of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. So lack of control over what other people do. And I almost feel like if you make a friend in February, there's a possibility that that friend in September is going to disappoint you. So, or perhaps there's some disappointment this month and you might reconcile in September. All right, so let's do one more shuffle, see what comes out. Oh, this fell off, so maybe what we don't want to know. We got 2. December and younger man, dealings or relationship with a younger man. So interesting, February and man is coming up for you, and it's related to December. So that's curious, but that's sort of something that slid under the table. Like it's not ready for you to be actively looking at, but just know that that's in the works. Almost like you wanted to know about a younger man, and we didn't see it in the cards, so they were like, all right, well, let's just throw in a little bit of younger man in there. All right, so that is your reading for the month ahead for February of 2022. I hope that was helpful for you. Let me know what resonated, what's going on in your life down in the comments. I always love to hear from you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right, so pile 2, you've got this white howlite stone here. White howlite is primarily a kind of spirituality stone. It's about finding that inner calm, that inner peace, and kind of defining a relationship with whatever your higher self or higher power is, whatever terminology it is you use. And also just let me know in the comments, like, what terminology you do use. Do you like God? Do you like higher power, the universe, source? You know, what is it that you relate to? Just out of curiosity. So we've got your white howlite. We are going to start out with the themes for February. What is really coming up for you this month, what you need to know, what you are learning about. So, interesting. We've got the Ace of Cups and we've got the Ace of Wands. So definitely beginnings. And what's interesting about cups and wands is that that's water and fire. It creates steam. So it almost feels like there's a lot of moisture, like there's a lot of wetness going on. I almost feel like if you're in a particularly wet climate, like make sure you're protecting yourself, that the weather might get a little dicey in February. But it's also about what your heart wants on an emotional level and on a gut level. So really going after that new journey that you're going after. I feel like new relationships could really build up in this time. And I think it's just about accepting the newness in your life this month, that you can experience excitement and fun and emotional fulfillment where maybe you had given up on some of those things. This Ace of Cups is really speaking out to me because I feel like it's important for you to put healthy routines in place. That you can't fill up your cup by over-watering it. You have to fill it to the right amount. So make sure that you're moderating the activities that you do that are kind of deemed as self-care. Because at a point, I feel like if you just continue doing self-care, and this might be a controversial opinion, but if you just keep doing self-care, you're just comforting this place where you don't continue to grow. If all you do is indulge in self-care routines, you're really creating a great place for comfort and safety, which we all need. Don't get me wrong, like you need to make sure you're taking care of yourself. But I think for you, you're being pushed to grow a little bit more and to start this new thing and, you know, allow this branch to sort of pop out and say, okay, I'm ready. So I think that's what you're dealing with. So let's look at the first third of the month for you. So from February 1st to the 10th. Ooh, wow. Okay, one more. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. So we've got the 8 of Swords, which if you follow me on Instagram, you know I just had a moment with this 8 of Swords like a week ago or so. And then we have the Sun, and we've got the King of Cups. So, wow, these cards are very powerful. I feel like the 8 of Swords really wants to hide. It's hiding within. It's not looking outside of itself, and it's really sitting in its own mind. So I feel like the first third of February, you are being asked to shine the light on maybe what you're hiding from. So ask yourself, what do I fear? And what do I actively run away from before it presents itself? You know, so what are you so afraid of turning up that you do everything in your power to avoid that coming up? The Sun is really asking you to look at every facet of your being, to really shine the light on the many things you're hiding from. And this rainbow symbology is so beautiful because it is about, you know, the rain coming down, right? That moisture, but the sun is the heat. So again, that steam happening, and steam can be, it's really hot. Like if you're in a steam room, it's really hot, it can get really uncomfortable. But if you push past that discomfort, then you actually get to release a lot of toxins. So I sort of feel like that's what's really coming up for you for this first third of February, pile 2, because you're being asked to look at every facet of what you're running away from, the good and the bad, right? There's such a spectrum of what can come out, like what toxins can come out if you were just to push past the discomfort and allow them to show themselves. And we've got this King of Cups, which is not judging your emotional self, not judging your emotional patterns, or just your emotions in general and how you connect to your emotions. It's funny because the King of Cups you would think is like the most emotional king, but he sits in his emotions in a way that he is so comfortable with them. And so he doesn't present as a super emotional king, like crying all the time, or really like, I don't know, like putting a lot of weight on the emotion. He's very comfortable with emotion. He's mastered emotion. So it's important for you to be quite objective when it comes to shining the light and to being in that steam room, rather than, you know, when you're in a steam room, you push past the discomfort and you start sweating out those toxins. You're not judging those toxins. You're not saying, oh, gross, I shouldn't have eaten blah, 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 because now I'm releasing these. You just say, wow, it's great, I'm releasing these toxins. And I think that's really important for you. That steam is really resonating because the cups and the wands came up, and then we've got this like fiery, watery energy going on. It does really feel like you have to shed a layer of toxin that you are holding on the surface, but trying to contain so much. So that is the first third of February. Let's see, the second third of February from the 11th to the 20th. Here we go. You've got the Queen of Swords, the Two of Wands, and the Knave of Swords, so the Page of Swords. So the Page and the Queen of Swords are sort of willing to go on this mental process. And I almost think like if you're in therapy, I feel like some really beautiful sentiments or breakthroughs are going to come up for you in therapy. I feel like there's still a resistance to really opening up, to really allowing the emotions to come through, because you're too quick to judge your own feelings, right? That King of Cups energy again. The Two of Wands is asking you to explore the unknown, explore what is opposite you, and again, not judging it, realizing that if you put this feeling or this habit or whatever it is you're dealing with outside of yourself, then you can really see it and you can get a new perspective, almost like you have to see yourself through other people's lens. All right, so that's the second third of February. I'm sure some more will come up as I pick some cards. But let's see, the last third of February from the 21st. Oh, I think I said the 30th in pile 1. From the 21st to the 28th. Here we go. Here's some. Again, wow. Okay. Okay, you've got a lot of repeat cards. You got the Eight of Swords again. You've got the Page of Swords. And then you have the King of Wands. So rather than the King of Cups like you now have this King of Wands. So the Cups has shifted into Wand territory, where there's a real passion to solve the problem, or there's a real passion to take action based off of the work that you have done in the first and second third of February, right? This Eight of Swords is from the first third, and the Page of Swords is from the second third. So I think you go from this 8 of not wanting to see anything of what is going on, or not wanting to reflect within, just going to put the blindfold on and like ignore the external world or what I'm feeling about the external world. And then you move on to this Page of Swords, which is naive, maybe doesn't know what they're getting themselves into, but they are glad that they are on the journey, and they are glad that they have started their journey. So just that transition of stagnancy to movement is going to be really, really good for you. And I think it's gonna kind of propel you to make choices and take actions. Again, I feel like this month might be one of discomfort, but I think on a base level, you know that this discomfort means you're growing. Again, like that self-care concept that I was talking about, where all you do is indulge in self-care because for some time you needed to. You were doing so much that was not caring for the self that then you were pushed in the other direction of, okay, I really need to take care of myself. So now it's about finding the balance between the two. Being able to take care of yourself, but then once you feel cared for, pushing past that so that you can grow a little bit. All right, so let's pick some cards from my tea leaf reading deck, which is great when you're drinking tea and fortune telling, but I also just love it as like a little divination tool. So let's see. We have got Wreath, which is sorrow over a loss. So this could be a loss in the physical sense, but it also could be a loss in that you are letting go of a part of yourself. And by doing this work, you are accepting that you have lost that part of yourself. We've got Grasshopper, situations in the balance that require careful handling. So it's that Eight of Swords. I almost feel like there's some sort of repressed emotion that really needs to come out that you had hidden within you for some time. And now is the time for it to come out and for that ugliness to rear its head. And then Dragon, beware of self-delusion. And that was right on top of this Eight of Swords here. This Eight of Swords imagery is so powerful. And the idea of delusion is really interesting because when you have a blindfold on yourself, and you're reflecting within, you have this whole other image of who you are. So just be careful that you are placing a delusional perception of yourself, you know, projecting that onto your reflection. So let's pick one more. Actually, there's this month, November. So just keep in mind that February is going to be tied to November in some way. All right, pile 2, I hope that was helpful for you. You picked that Howlite, which is very much working on your own inner path. So there is some intensity here, but I am really sending you the best. I hope you're going to do really, really well, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right, so pile 3, I've got your Unakite here. So beautiful. I love Unakite, and Unakite is one of those crystals that for me, I instantly knew how it affected me. You know, some crystals I really like research and look at and then I start feeling it out, but Unakite immediately to me was such a stone of reconciliation of the masculine and feminine elements of myself. That you can be feminine and masculine at the same time and that you don't have to pick a side, essentially. And then Unakite really became a stone for me to be able to embody my more feminine self because I'd always been a little more masculine in that I was always, you know, putting energy outside of myself, and Unakite is very much about placing that energy within yourself. And I love this stone. It is one of my favorites, so I could go on about it forever. Let me know what your experience is with Unakite and why you picked it in the comments. I'm curious. So we are going to start off with, with the themes of the month of February. This card was just down. I'm going to put it back in the deck. But I thought it was interesting that Temperance came up because I was talking about the balance of the femininity and masculinity within the self. So I just thought that was interesting that Temperance is about finding the moderation, finding the right balance that is for you. I'm going to put that back because I don't know that I'm going to use this deck for you guys. I'm actually going to start off with my Sasuraibito deck, and we are going to pick the themes of this month for you. What do you guys do as you wait for my cards to jump out? All right, and let's just see this last one. All right, so I'll keep 3. I have been doing 2, but you guys are a little special. So, the themes of February for you. The first one that really showed itself was the Magician. How much are you willing to do? How much are you capable of doing? And how much are you actually doing right now? And then you've got the Two of Swords. I think saying no is important for you this month. I think saying no to things that you're doing, maybe pausing some of the things you're doing, and really making sure that what you are doing is really aligned with what you want, you know? So making sure that you say no to things that you don't want, setting those boundaries. And then you've got the Six of Pentacles. that making sure that you are getting as much as you are giving. I feel like there's sort of an uneven exchange for you right now with some other people, that you are not willing to take as much as you are willing to, you know, offer up to others. And so making sure to prioritize your needs too. And if somebody is offering something, to say yes to that. So almost setting the boundaries with others when they ask too much of you, and then also removing the boundaries that you have with yourself when you talk about what you deserve from others, what you deserve to gain from other people's offerings or service, or, you know, helping you, accepting help. The Magician is able to do it all, but that doesn't mean he has to do it all. So moving on to the first third of February. So from February 1st to the 10th, which, you know, I actually should have split it into like 9 days, but I did not. Wow. All right, we've got Death and we got the Hermit, and I'm not going to pick a third card for that. The first third of February, from the 1st to the 10th, this is a big moment for you to shed your, definitely your ego, because the Hermit is a 9. And so the Hermit itself is all about being able to guide yourself, being able to do it yourself again, showing up. But it's a 9, which is all about release. And then we also have Death, which is all about release. So it does feel like there's a big opportunity, or possibly it's going to be a challenge, to let go of a certain version of yourself. Again, maybe that like feeling like you have to do it all, and that you've always done it all. I'm capable of doing it all, so why don't I? Trusting that other people can do the same things as you, and maybe even do it as well, or maybe bring other strengths to the table that you hadn't considered because they're not your strengths. So really, like a manipulation needs to occur in the first third of February. Manipulation's coming up, so I'm trying to tether that to what that means. But some sort of manipulation needs to occur so that you are willing to let go. And I think I say manipulation because mani is hands, you know, that root is hands, and we've got the Magician here who's dealing with hands, and then this Death card also has so many hands. So there's a lot of hands at work here in the first third of February, and I think you need to release some of the control to the hands that are working, you know, that again, that like giving and taking being really important, making sure that you're not giving as much as or more than you are taking from others. You may have to accept certain parts of yourself too that you've been struggling to accept. Maybe I think about control because it's that Scorpio energy of being really fixed and wanting to make sure that things are a certain way. And it's very, very feminine in that way. I'm trying to saddle all these words together. But I feel like there's an element of you that you really need to let go of. And there's also an element to you that you really need to accept. That perhaps you have always felt like you had to do it because that responsibility and burden was put on you. And now you just carry that without the burden being put on you. So notice what happens when you release that burden, when you let go of it. That first third in February, I think, is going to be quite elusive. Feel like you might not fully understand what's going on, and you might feel like an inner conflict that's going on within you. But if you really listen to it, then I think real beautiful growth can happen, and real self-acceptance and real self-improvement. All right, so on to the second third of February. So from the 11th to the 20th. Here we go. Okay, we've got the 3 of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and the 4 of Wands. There's definitely an element of protection that happens when you decide that you want to control or you want to do everything. You are protecting yourself, but you're also almost protecting others from your own anger. So say if you ask somebody to do something for you and they don't do it as well as you wanted them to, then you're going to be kind of angry at them. So instead of delegating, you are protecting them. You're protecting and preserving your relationship. And I also think there's an element to self-protection here of, if I do it all, I don't have to rely on anybody, and then I don't have to worry about the risk of losing those people or the risk of losing whatever entity it is that you have to kind of give into. So there's a lot of self-preservation, self-protection that's going on here. And I think it's important for you to get to the source of that, get to the source of why you feel like you have to protect yourself at all costs, get to the source of why you think you are the only one who can do this, and really start relying on kind of your community, relying on a foundation that you can build that makes you feel safe, that makes you feel like you are protected, but not in the way of like self-preservation, right? So that you can protect yourself, but also be involved and trusting of a community around you. Let's pick some fortune tea leaf cards. I actually feel like there's another card that needs to come up. Oh, that's why, because we need the last third of February. So the last third of February from the 21st to the 28th, we're going to do another Ostara Tarot. There we go. There's one. There's another. Shoot. All right. There's a third. The first one that jumped out. Wow. How beautiful. We've got the 10 of Cups. Look at that divine holding of each other. There is so much trust between these two people in this card. And look at them just facing each other. It's so fantasy almost. And so being able to look someone straight in the face and not, break out in laughter, and instead just staring each other in the eye and saying, I trust you. I think that's really, really important, that element of trusting others for the month of February, and especially coming to this place in the last third of February. What else jumped out? The 10 of Swords and the Page of... I always forget what this page is. It's the Page of Cups. So really just embarking on this journey of trust. This is what we're working towards, and knowing that you are embarking on that journey. You are starting that out and you are willing for it to happen, and that that being able to meet this place of trust is going to wipe out some of the anxieties or some of the worries or that thought of burden coming up. That the burden won't be all on you because you can trust somebody else to carry some of the weight. And it's like a mental burden. It's not even that it's like physically heavy on you. You just mentally burden yourself with so much responsibility. And if you were able to just dole out half of that stuff, right, just with one other person or multiple people, but starting off with that one person of, I trust you so much and I want to share some of this weight, and knowing that the other person will be there to carry that weight for you. So it's just this really beautiful soul-defining trust with somebody else. So let's pick some tea leaf fortune cards now. See what comes up for you. All right. Oh, well, how sweet. We've got love coming up. That's just love. And let's see, on top of the 2 of Swords, we've got Butterfly, a change for the better, and Inkpot, problems to be resolved. That's great. Problem solving is really at the forefront for you. That was on the 2 of Swords. So that's saying no to new things, saying no to what you don't want to do anymore, setting your boundaries with other people. That is a change for the better, and it's actually a resolution. It's a solution to some of the problems that you've been having. Let's see, 2 more came out. Oh, 3 more. We've got Wedge. Someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something you want. Okay, so really being able to build a trust with the people that aren't making a wedge there. Hammock, taking a vacation physically or mentally, right? Mentally vacating some of the stuff because you're able to unload some of it onto others. And Elephant, a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. And that is a beautiful stopping point. Let's see if you can really see that. That's a really beautiful stopping point to say you are at the beginning of this journey, like the Page of Wands said. You are working towards this 10 of Cups of really being able to trust somebody else, and you are going to be wiser at the end of this journey. So pile 3 with your Unakite. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for participating, and I love to see your comments below. What resonated? What's going on with you? But seriously, let me know why you picked Unakite, because I'm always interested to see, I don't know, why other people's interests are the same as mine, but for what reasons. So Sending you guys a lot of love. Hope you have a wonderful month, and I will see you next time.